Hello world, and welcome back to Jim Johnson Reviews the World on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. Today we got an exciting recipe for you. We've got Taco Tuesday, or as I like to call them, Tacos El Gringo, or Tacos El Gringo Loco, because I'm a little bit crazy. Now for this, you're going to need a bunch of stuff, but it's real nice and simple and easy once we get going. You're going to need some seasoning blend, or just onions, chopped spinach, chopped green peppers, 1 pound of ground turkey, white cord tortillas, what I like to use when I'm feeling fancy, some salsa, can of black beans, whatever kind of cheese you like. I'm a big fan of cheddar, and then some lettuce. Also with that oil, if you want to get real fancy, you go with some bacon grease instead. Alright, now let's slide this off the side, and then we'll get to telling you about the seasonings we're going to use today. Alright folks, we go over to the stove. We're going to show you the hardware for today. We got 1 medium saucepan, well used, and a nice extra large saucepan, and a spatula. I like a slightly smaller spatula. I feel like it gives me more control. I don't end up slopping stuff out. As you can see on my stove, every day, cooking in here. There's a couple little spots. Please, forgive it. I'm a real person, not a studio chef. Now, we're going to get to cooking. Alright, let's get to cooking. First things first, we're going to heat our pan over medium heat. Add some oil. Probably about a tablespoon, give or take. A little less. Switch that around real quick. Cook the pan, heat up a little bit. Alright, now we're going with our seasoning blend, which will just be chopped onion. I like the extra seasonings and the additional. And we're going about half a bag of this. There we go. Alright, we got our onions in, and we're going with some green peppers now. Probably about a quarter or a third of a bag, depending on how much peppers you like. Alright. And then we do have chopped spinach. We're going to stick that back in the freezer and put that in more towards the end so it doesn't get all cooked completely down. So we're going to go ahead and cook these. Stir it occasionally. And let it simmer down for about 5-6 minutes. Alright, it's been 7 minutes, and as you can see, we got all the moisture out of these vegetables. They're looking pretty good. Ready to go. We're going to slide them off to the side here for right now. Also, as these vegetables get close to how done you want them, go ahead and adjust your heat to more of a medium-high than a standard medium. We're going to get in with the meat now. 1 pound of ground turkey is what I'm using. I almost exclusively use ground turkey in recipes that call for ground beef. These days, about the last 11 years I've been this way, because we don't need to eat that much beef, and I'm not the biggest fan of beef in the world either. Alright, let's get that meat in there. Start breaking it up. And then, with tacos, it's never too early to start adding seasonings. So we're going to go with our first big shakes of that standard blend taco seasoning I mentioned earlier. Let's give it a good coating. Alright. Then we're going to keep cooking this and breaking it up for 7 more minutes here. We'll come back and show you when it's time to add more seasoning. Alright, now while the meat's cooking down, let's go ahead and get a seasoning blend going. Now normally I would just dump all this into the pan one by one while I'm cooking, but for expediency here on the video, let's go ahead and make a quick seasoning blend up. We're going to leave that taco seasoning blend off to the side. We're not going to add any of that to this. Let's go in with all these seasonings. I'll go ahead and ground up about a tablespoon of coarse ground black pepper. So I didn't think you want to watch me do that. We're going to go with our dash Southwest Chipotle, about 6-7 shakes. Then about 2 shakes of my Chipotle pepper. 1, 2. About a half dozen shakes of oregano, maybe a little more. There we go. There's our oregano. I'm going to give it about a half teaspoon of cumin. If I have that much left in here, I didn't realize it was almost empty till now. There we go. About a teaspoon of garlic. Or 1 decent sized spoonful of garlic if you're using that. A little more. Alright, then we want some turmeric. Probably about a teaspoon of that. Doesn't want to come out. There we go. Nice healthy teaspoon of turmeric. About a half teaspoon, no, about a quarter teaspoon of celery seed. There we go. And then about a teaspoon of paprika. That's going to give us good color in the finished product. And then, earlier we were talking about some special ingredients, which are authentic to South American tacos, as I believe. And that is ground cinnamon, 1, 2, and nutmeg. 1 little guy. Just a little bit of that nutmeg in there. Alright, so when we get ready to go, it's going to be nice and easy. Just dump this in the pan and continue seasoning our meat. Alright, this has been cooking for several minutes. You can see while we were cooking, we got those veggies mixed back in. And at this stage, it's probably about 3/4 of the way done. Nice and broke up. One of the things I like about turkey, most of the time, it's nice and easy to break it up when we're cooking. I also like using turkey as opposed to beef. Besides the health benefits, we're not going to drain this. There's no need to drain the turkey. So now we're going to come in with our seasonings. Nice, healthy shakes all the way across. We've got taco seasoning blend from the store that has the cornstarch added, which it has cornstarch in it to begin with, but I like to add more so that we get a nice thick sauce. And then that mixture of seasonings that we did a few minutes ago, I'm going to pour in a little more than half of that, probably 3/4. There we go. Look at all that beautiful seasoning. We'll mix that in here, nice and thoroughly. It's going to start soaking up some of that water, moisture from the veggies and the meat. Real nice, real nice. We'll get that incorporated, and we'll be back to show you what's next. Alright, we got all those seasonings mixed in. You can see it's starting to dark, most of that moisture's gone. At this point, we're going to dump in about a cup, give or take, frozen spinach. You watch me cook, you see my meals, I like to sneak specifically onions, peppers, and spinach, or onions, peppers, and kale, or just onions and kale, onions and spinach. I like to sneak some veggies into anything I can, because, you know, veggies by themselves, not that great. Veggies mixed into meals, you don't really know they're there. We're going to sprinkle on the rest of that seasoning blend from before, and several more shakes of our taco seasoning. Go ahead and incorporate that, and at this point, go ahead and turn your heat down to more of a medium-low, more of a simmer temp. This mixed in. Alright, we got the spinach mixed in. It's still kind of thawing out and getting incorporated, but we're getting kind of close to the end here with the meat phase. And we're going to move on to the taco shell phase, because that's the real important part for this presentation, is how we do cook and prepare our white corn shells. So I'm going to take a moment while this is simmering to address the elephant in the room, which is my use of store-bought taco seasoning mix when I made an entire seasoning blend of individual spices. Now that's the gringo part of this. I grew up in a house where we used store-bought seasoning blend and nothing else with ground beef. Obviously I've changed that over the years, but I never let go of the taco mix. So we use taco mix from the store and several seasonings from our pantry. Alright, we got that all incorporated, and we moved our pan over a smaller burner so we can start heating up our large pan for cooking shells. But in the interim, we're going to go ahead, remember those black beans when we started, we're going to dump the excess liquid from the can of black beans right over top of our meat here. And that's going to help deepen our flavor profile and our color profile. Add a little moisture here towards the end so we don't end up with so we don't end up with dry meat. I'm just going to add all that in, all that excess liquid will come out of the can for us. Alright, that should about do it. Mix that in, we'll be right back. Alright, while the meat's simmering and finishing up, let's talk about lettuce. I recently discovered a nifty little hack for making things with lettuce. Better crunch lettuce, also known as butter crunch lettuce. You can also find a red leaf lettuce and a couple green leaf lettuces that grow in these nice little heads, as you might be able to see in here. Nice little leaves you just pull off. And doesn't that make the perfect little cup for our taco meat? So all I did, I rinsed them real quick. We're just going to trim these edges on the bottom so you don't have any funky bits. And now, if you're very health conscious, you can just put your taco meat and filling in here and skip the shells. But the corn tortilla shells, the way we're going to do them, just makes these tacos amazing and a bit more authentic to how they do them in Latin American areas. Alright, now our meat's pretty much done. We're just kind of in this hang out, chill out, simmering phase here. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to add about half a can of those black beans that we already drained that liquid out into it. And if you really love black beans, you can put the whole can in here. But I usually put a little more than half. A little bit more. There we go. That should do it. Let's go ahead and get that mixed in. And you can smell this at home, folks. It smells so good in here. Alright, we're back here making our Tacos El Gringo Loco. Or just Tacos El Gringo if you're not crazy. And we have heated up our pan over straight up medium heat and melted just enough bacon grease today, home rendered bacon grease, to cover the bottom of the pan. Now, if you're really health conscious, or for some reason you don't like bacon grease, you go ahead and use some of this butter spray here. That turns out really nice. And all I do with my corn shells and lay in 3 to 4, depending upon how they're fitting in a given day. I think I'm just going to go with 3 at a time today. So we're going to get these toasted on both sides, real quick, and then show you how it's done. Alright, after several seconds, try not to burn myself here. You see they're just starting to brown on the bottom. So I'm going to flip these. Flip, flip, flip. There you go, just a little bit of golden brown. And now, folks, this is what I think takes these tacos over the top. Now they're flipped. We're going with our sharp cheddar, or whatever kind of cheese you like. Just add a heavy pinch on each shell. 1, 2, 3. So we got a little more on this one here. Alright. And then we come in with our next set of shells. Put those right on top. 1, 2, 3. Give it a little press. Something not to burn yourself. And we're going to let these cook for about 1.5 to 2 minutes. Alright, these shells are nicely toasted on both sides. Cheese in the middle is melted. Let's put them out on more, okay? 2. And then, let's go over here and do some plating. So here's our hack. Take our whole lettuce leaf. 1, 2, 3. And we got our meat. This nice spoonful of meat. Load it in. A little bit more. There we go. And we got our meat. And now, if you want to, you can be done with the cheese. Use that cheese in the middle is enough. I like to come back with another sprinkle of cheese on the top. And then a little bit of salsa. This is a nice medium picante salsa. There we go. That, folks. Now this, folks, is our finished taco. Let's get a couple more ready, and then we'll turn around and take a taste test. Alright, we got our finished plate of tacos here. We're working real hard on these. Let's go ahead, give them a taste, see how they came out. I really like the way you put the lettuce and everything right in there so it's like a cup. Let's see how they are. Yeah, man. Yeah. That's the stuff. Delicious, full of flavor, a little bit healthy, a little bit naughty. Here we have it, folks. Gringo Local Tacos.